Today on Dungeons and Dragons, the drawinating, we're going to look at the map of this is chapter 12, I think. This is the 12th live stream in this particular series, where I try to draw all the locations, or at least all the named locations and important locations from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon to make a kind of a map of the realm. However, only season 1, because I've determined that to do the other 2 seasons would just be too much work, and I'm not up to it. And I think season 1 is fine. So we have, let me see, what do we have here? We started with, oh no, there we go. Okay, we started with episode 1. Oh my God, what happened there? The Night of No Tomorrow, where we had Merlin's castle, and just kind of like, I guess Tiamat's lair is what this is. This is like, I don't know what that is. Then episode 2 was the Eye of the Beholder. So we had the Valley of the Beholder and the Mushroom Forest, which wasn't named, but I decided to include it anyway. And then the town, which I think was named. Let me see. Yeah, Pendrake. The town of Pendrake is there. Episode 3, the Hall of Bones. Just had the Hall of Bones. That's all. I'm sure there were some other places, but there were. I have written down Tiamat's Lair, Craggy Mountain, but I didn't draw it, so that's fine. Episode 4 was the Hall of Bones, which had Episode 4 was the Valley of the Unicorns, which had the Valley of the Unicorns, and then Kellick's Castle, which was pretty great. And then episode 5, In Search of the Dungeon Master, what did they have? Let me zoom out. Where did I put them? I put them over here. There was the Forest of No Trees. That's, yes, very important. And then the Slave Mines of Daramorn, and Venger's Castle, Venger's Cliffside Castle, which we see in a couple more episodes. But this, I think that's the first time we see that. It was in episode 5. Episode 6, Beauty and the Bog Beast, had the river that rains upside down, which is right here. Look at that, lovely. And then some lava flats, again not named, but very distinctive is the word I'm looking for. Episode 7, The Prison Without Walls. We have the Valley of the Vale of Mist, and the Swamp of Sorrow. And if you check out my video on this YouTube channel, if you check out my blog, I have how to adapt this episode to a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. And I mention that when I do, because I also have a series where I, a storyboard artist, reacts to the episodes of Dungeons & Dragons, the cartoon. And so I mentioned that as well. But let's move on. Episode 8, The Servant of Evil. That's the only thing in that episode. Everything pretty much takes place in the prison of Agony. Number 9, Quest of the Skeleton Warrior. Here we are. There's the, what's that one called? The Lost Tower of the Celestial Knights. And then there's the Ruins to the East, which is it has this cool henge. We're getting close to where we are now, and that's the Garden of Zin, which I actually put in. I typed that in. And what's along with that? The Valley of Smoke. Yes, that is a named place. The Valley of Smoke and the Garden of Zin. Finally, last time we did the box, which is the only place that was mentioned by name was Skull Mountain. There was also a swamp and a jungle. We have the Swamp of Sorrow already, so I didn't need to redraw that. And then today we are doing the Lost Children. And in the Lost Children, I think I have in my Lost Children, I took the notes as I was watching the episode. So the notes are, they start in the forest, woods, and I think I do need to do a woods. There's already, if we go to the original source material, the whole reason I started this series, there it is. This came in the coloring book or the adventure book or a sticker book. It was a sticker book, and it had these maps in it. The map on the left that on my screen here is also appeared in this music is distracting me. I'm going to turn it down even quieter. Maybe I needs to be quieter here too. Turn it down just a bit. I saw this first in the box set, the DVD set, which I have. And when I looked at it, I thought, why is everything wrong in this map? The Kellick's Castle does appear. Box Canyon kind of appears. None of this other stuff. The cavern, no. The Hook Horrors do appear, but it's not a cavern. Valley of the Orcs, kind of. The Kingdom of Venger, kind of. But everything else, the Lair of Tiamat definitely, but everything else is just that does not appear in the cartoon series at all. So when I saw it in the box set, I was like, why is this here? This is totally wrong. But it turns out the original source for this map was the sticker book. And so in the sticker book, these locations make sense. So that's why I was confused. But that's why I got the idea, well, I'll just make one that's that's authentic, that's accurate to the cartoon series. And so that's why I'm doing this big map. And as I said, they do have a gloomy forest. So I'll do my version of that. Probably not today. Or maybe I will do it today. We'll see how far we get during this live stream. I'm doing another I'm famous for my impromptu live streams that I decide to do on the spur of the moment with very little preparation and very little announcement. But here we are. So the only thing, so what was I saying? Yes, so we start the episode off in the woods. Then we go to there's another area which is also in the woods, but it's different because there are a bunch of Greek columns and fountains and statues that do nothing and go nowhere and have no relevance. It's just like background stuff. I'm not going to draw that because it's not actually important to the story. It's just somewhere where they kind of camp for the night. But they do go to Venger's. Most of the episode takes place. The kids have to infiltrate Venger's castle to break somebody out of the dungeon. So that's fun. So this was the picture straight from the episode that I screen grabbed from the YouTube. And as you can see, it's pretty much like I could trace this and put it in, and it would be great. It would be fine. But I don't like to trace things if I don't have to. So let's put all of these other things back in. Boom, boom, boom. Da, 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 da. Now we're listening to some of the actual. So now we can see. So let me get rid of that layer. So we're going to put Venger's Castle over in this area here. And I've got my right brush. And one thing in the episode, I don't know if oh yeah, this is even better because it shows, maybe I'll do it this way. It has more of a lead up to the castle. And then, yeah, in the episode, there's kind of like a area in front of the castle where the bad guys have a camp with lizard men and orcs and some weird cloaked guys that are important for the plot. But that's a temporary thing, so I don't think I'll include it on the map. I think I'll just, no, I want that one. I think I'll just do the castle. Now, one of the other reasons tracing wouldn't be so good to do here is because on most, if not all of the other areas, I had the light source coming from top left, above left. And on my source material here, my reference material, it's definitely coming from behind and to the right. So that would be, I mean, I could just kind of like, here, let me just let me pretend. I could just like draw everything, do a draw over, and then have the light source coming from this way and just draw the light source on this side. But that's not fun. That's boring. It's not challenging. So I think, what if here's another idea. What if is this symmetrical? And I think the answer is no. Because if I flip it, let me make a copy. Duplicate layer. And then let me flip it. Horizontally flip it. Transform. Flip horizontal. We can see like what's going on here. That would be like actually sticking out on the left here. There'd be more of a building there. Charles, hello, here be Dungeons and Dragons. And then I have no idea what this is supposed to represent either. So yeah, it's not symmetrical, so it wouldn't work to do a draw over of that either. So we'll just have to use our best guess. And I guess I can, where's my duplicate layer? We can get rid of that layer. Copy. And let's just draw it up. So bring this down to scale, something like around like that. More Dungeons and Dragons movie music appropriate. How is Charles Quiet doing today? So let me just delete that altogether. Not gonna use it. And then here's the good one. The good one that shows the entire castle. So I feel like, just for proportion's sake, maybe I do a bit of a, not a draw over per se, but let's get the proportions right. Here's where the door would be. There's the top of that. Then there's another ridge that kind of is like that. And then there's this weird thing. Here's the top of here. This is like if we were looking straight on. I'm not going to do a straight on one. I am going to do a bit of an angle. And then I think there's that other part that comes here. And then, yeah, everything else is like, that's where so those things come up. And then the tippy top would be like here. And and then we got some, I don't know what you call those, bridges here. So if we take that and scale it down to fit in, I don't know how much, we might compress some of the, I'm doing swell. Yourself? Not too bad. Not too bad. We had some fun. I went to pick up 100 CD cases for a very special tickets project, Darkest of the Hillside Tickets, as I'm sure you know, my Cthulhu rock and roll band. So maybe we I don't know, we compress some of this. Some of that. And then I think that's fine. Right? And then so there's where all those things go. So that gives us our basis. Something like that. Roughly. Pretty good. I think it's good. So with that in mind, I guess I don't really need this one. I think I really only need this reference. So we'll keep this here. Let me rasterize that layer. Where is it? Rasterize. And then I can get rid of all of this so I can get my reference a little closer to my drawing area so I can zoom in bigger and you can all appreciate that. Hopefully anyone watching this can appreciate that a bit. So this is going to be Venger's Castle 2. And let me save my work. Yeah. Get rid of this. Although, maybe it's a good time to say, hey, support me on Patreon. And the link's in the description. And buy some of my original art if you'd like to. And then find me on Blue Sky, Tumblr, and Instagram, and Facebook as well. That's not. Okay, so let me see. What do I want to do here? Start from the ding 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 ding. Maybe we do. I'm gonna do. So light source is coming in from. Ooh, why is it not drawing? Light source is coming in from that side. Yeah, that's fine. Let's turn that off so I can actually see my brush size. Adjust my Cintiq and get everything ergonomic here. And I can move in a bit closer. So we're going to do the door. Ba-da-ba. Ding, ding. It doesn't have to be this detailed because it's going to be on a huge ass map. Huge ass. Is there a huge ass here? So we can put in some nice dark. Because, what do you call them? And then this will be the... We'll do a similar... It's weird, like, on this side it comes out, but on this side it slopes down. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. It goes against every instinct. Do you ever see Fred Bremer these days? Old friend of mine. Where did I see him last? I saw him somewhere. It's funny because he went to Japan. I want to say he's got a Japanese wife. I'm not sure. He went to Japan. I went to Japan this time last year. In January, February last year. For 10 days. I guess it was just in January. And I took a bunch of pictures of stuff in Kurashiki, maybe some other places near Okayama. And he had gone basically to the exact same places. And he shared his photos with me that were like, that were exactly the same. Oh, I see. Oh, so this extends out further like that. Oh, that's interesting. But not over here. Oh, who made this castle? Interesting. But to answer the question, I haven't seen him lately, but I do see him around from time to time. Okay. We can just... Okay, so we got some rocks. We got some rocks here. And again, we don't have to be slavish to the to our source reference here. We can take some liberties, but there's no reason to change things then we won't. Just for simplicity, we'll simplify some things just because. And for some reason I drew something up here, but I don't think we need to do that. Okay, so great. So then we have this coming out this way. How do you know Fred Bremer? I met him through... So I had this pot. So my friend Joe is the answer is I met him through my friend Joe, who was also my co-host on the Caustic Soda podcast. I guess this comes down a little bit from here, right? Pop. Yeah. So we can do that. Actually, it would make more sense to do the sketchy lines this way. Okay. People travel alike. Such a great guy. Yeah. Always very helpful and friendly. And I think he was... So my friend Joe was a member of the Skeptics Club or the Skeptics Society. Local skeptics group. Yeah, so then this comes... Oh, I see what's happening. So I think it would. Let's do this. Let's extend that out a little bit more. And I think I went to one or two of their meetings, which was at like the Railway Club, which is a local pub. Was that the Railway Club? I can't remember where it was. Anyway, it wasn't really my scene. I'm not really much of a club guy, like a joiner. And I'm not that passionate about I don't know, debating religious people about what is real and what is not. I'm kind of like well, I mean, I appreciate, I certainly have had those arguments. Like I went to one of my old coworkers was religious, and I would have fun debates about, is there a human soul? How do we know there's a human soul? That kind of stuff. Why do we think the Bible is true? What happens if there is no soul? And all the morality and stuff like that, and free will, all that kind of stuff. And that's, you can have lots of interesting discussions with that, of course. But I don't need to go to a club and talk to other skeptics about how best to have these, how to convince people, about what is reality. Plus I don't like, I'm socially awkward and I don't like bars. So there's that. I really don't know what I'm drawing here. I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's just some weird shape. It doesn't make too much sense. But we'll keep going. We'll keep going. And this, I feel like this is going to go here. Right? Something like that. And then, I don't know what's going on here either, but we will draw it. We'll do our darndest to draw some things, even though they don't match up. Okay. And we're going to have to remember, we're going to have to put some heavy lines on the edge, because it's got to compete with all of this other stuff on the map. So we don't want to get too detailed. In fact, let me zoom out again just to have a look at the big picture, the literal big picture. I miss caustic soda so much. Fred and I trained in karate together way back when. Karate. I went to karate with my friend Kyoko, friend and coworker. And kind of the same thing. I like the idea of karate and, getting in shape and being in shape. How is this going to work? Okay, I need to go a little bit higher. I took one class because it was free. First class, you do your audit. And then hopefully this is going to look good when it's done, but I really don't know. Yeah, but it was, it was a bunch of strangers I didn't know, punching and kicking each other. And I like the idea, but I'm not going to spend money on that. This is the short answer. All right, so let's do, again, I'm taking some liberties here, and I feel fine about it. I feel absolutely fine about it. Let's do another one here. Ba, 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 ba. And right? I don't know. Maybe we just fill that in. Maybe we fill all of these in. And that's that. Okay. Where was I? Let's put a thicker line along here as well. Okay, cool. And then bricks, brickwork. And I think we're getting close. Did I leave enough room? Like these, what are these things? They look like beehives or something up there. So what do we got? We got like this one dominant one, kind of the center. So let's start from the top and see how it goes. These are so weird. No, I hate it. Yeah, caustic soda was a good time. I think about it with fondness. I remember when we canceled, I was like, part of me was glad it was over because it was just a ton of work. And it was causing stress on my relationships. Well, my one relationship. And, is that right? How do I want to do this? Maybe a little bit more of an angle. But I certainly don't regret it. Okay, here we go. This is the big one. And then there's another big one over here, but not quite as big. Ba ba ba, bow, bow, and then this one is behind. And these two have some kind of a bridge, which I actually drew a little guideline for, so that was smart of me. And something like that. And then there's another one. I guess even taller over here. I'm not sure. It's not. I mean, it's not. It's about the same height in the picture, but let's make it bigger anyway. Ba-bow. Yeah, I remember when caustic soda ended. I felt like, and we were finally in a good position financially, because we had spent 4 or 5 years. We were doing it 6 years altogether. Looks like a Cthulhu Lego castle. Yeah. I guess they don't stagger. They are in a line. Okay. Boink, 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 boink. It's too bad. And a lot of people ask, why did we stop doing caustic soda? And the answer is how do I say this diplomatically? Creative differences, more or less. I feel like maybe one day we had that one episode with Dr. Bowl as he was tragically dying of cancer. We did that. We had a reunion, but even now, that's like 5 years ago now or something. God, don't say that. So, ba 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 ba. Maybe maybe it's too much over there. Let's do, and then over here. But yeah, there was a personality conflict, and it wasn't me. So you can you can narrow that down. And then, in addition to that, so we had, yeah, I don't know how much I can really talk about that, except to say, everyone kind of had the, we were riding the high of success, if you will. So some of us were like, well, we'll just do our own podcasts. And so I did Torrens Guide to Everything, and nobody watched, which is fine. And Joe did his, I can't remember what it was called. It was kind of like a skeptics podcast. But he didn't maintain, I didn't maintain a schedule. Oh, that's why this is turning on its own as I shake the table. I didn't have my own schedule either, really. I think we're almost done here. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Is there anything? Oh, there's a couple towers on the left-hand side. Okay. I didn't have a set schedule either. And then we had viral transmissions with me, Joe, and Dr. Rob, and that was during, pretty much, we knew it was only going to be during the pandemic until a cure for COVID or a vaccine for COVID was, until the lockdown ended, basically. We knew we had an end point. So if you like caustic soda, you can probably find viral transmissions and, God, what was Joe's podcast name? I can't remember. And I think I was like a guest on one of them. And yeah, and that was pretty much. And then on top of that, I was on adventure.exe, the one of millions of the D&D live play podcasts. Never a shortage of those. Okay, I think we're done. Let's take a look. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of our no, not that. This is our final. I should make that blue or something. And then we can get rid of that, and we can get rid of that. And this will be Venger's Castle. Should we do, how long am I doing? 36. Let's keep going. And, yeah, that's Venger's Castle. That's pretty good. I think it's about appropriate scale. Let's just do a gloomy woods while I'm here. And while you're here. Someone was going to do a murder, weren't they? It was going to be a murder. God, no. Yeah, we had our murder episode, and then we decided to take it a step further. I feel like, okay, here we go. So, let's take a look at this gloomy forest, and let's do something like it. And yeah, pardon me. And we might as well just move it. So there's one more. So this is episode, this geography is from episode number 12. And then there's one more in the first season, which is Presto spells disaster, which is a terrible name for an episode. Presto spells disaster if you don't use the acronym exactly as it reads. What was I going to say? And then once I do that, I have to rearrange all these things. It's an impossible task, but I'm going to try to rearrange these in more or less the geographical arrangement that it might be theoretically from episodes 1 to 13. Because, get rid of that. I would, for each of these episodes, I would do, as you can see here, for episode number 11, I sometimes they would just go to a different location. They wouldn't necessarily say north or east or whatever. But I would keep track of what is near the named locations, what's near. So in this episode, there was a swamp, and then there was jungle, and then there was Skull Mountain, which Skull Mountain is the only one I've drawn. So I have some. Problem is, there's going to be like a million different forests and a couple jungles and a couple, like, you know, canyon passes or whatever. And I'm not gonna draw them all. I'm just not gonna draw them all. So, you know. All right, so let's move our frame. Let's make this. What if our reference was a bit bigger? Doesn't need to be that big, I guess. And then, yeah, let's do a version of this. Let me look at some of the other stuff I've done before I get started. This is a swamp. This is the Swamp of Sorrow. It's got a nice log in the foreground, and I've drawn in a little violet fungus from the Monster Manual here. And this is the Forest of No Trees. I think that's not great because they all look very similar, and it's kind of boring. So I'm going to try to not to do that with the Gloomy Forest. There's the Gloomy Forest. That's and then this has some trees, and this also has some trees. The forest. This is the Mushroom Forest, so it's a bit inapplicable. And then this one has trees as well. This is the Valley of the Unicorns, I think, which is pretty fun. Okay, so let's just draw something. Let's zoom out just a wee bit more. A wee bit more. Here, let me get right to the edge here, and I'll move that forward to my boundary, and then we'll just. Is this going to be the Gloomy Forest? Let's say that it is. Gloomy Forest. The Gloomy Forest. It's just going to be generic forest. It's not a named forest. But there's so many forests in so many of these episodes that I'll draw this one, put it kind of like in the middle of the map. So, to help me orient all the other locations from all the other episodes. Anyway, so let's just do it. So I think if I go back to, sure, that's fun. I can draw on this layer. Dunk. I feel like maybe something big in the foreground. This file is so large that a lot of lag on my stylus, and it's only going to get worse the more stuff I add. So that's why I'm not going to do the whole. That's another reason why I'm not going to do all 3 seasons on one map. So I don't know. Let's have a stump. Do some kind of a stump. Just a natural tree fall. Maybe rocks, couple rocks. Mossy fern or something. I don't know. And then we want a shrubbery. And then I think this tree is too big. No, that's too big. And we can make them kind of sort of like, let me move that over just a wee bit. Just a tad. And then we want a shrubbery. That's kind of like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to, I have a reference folder. Illustration, art reference. I want my outside, my location scenery, plants, forests, woods, trees, and foliage. I have a bunch of, here, let's open it up. Here's some of the many, some of these photos I've taken, some of them I've grabbed from the internet. I do like that. I do like that. Some flowers. Cool banyan trees or something. The big roots. But that's more jungle. This is going to be just kind of general temperate forest. But let me see. I remember I took some photos in the rainforest. Here we go. These are the ones. With just cool looking rocks. Like, I love these mossy rocks. So I'll keep that. Yeah, look at those mossy rocks. These mossy rocks rock. Okay. I like that one. I like this area here. So I'll just keep that open. And that's a photograph I took by myself. Isn't that nice? Cthulhu Inc. is here. It's 9:13 p.m. Shouldn't you be in bed? Unky D Ron. Okay, so this is gonna be. This is gonna be our mossy rock. It's gonna be our mossy rock. Mossy rock. Right, something like that. I don't know. And then just some trees. Like what is already in this other one. This is going to be our gloomy forest. Should there be like a lake or something in here? No. I think probably not. Let's not include the lake. That's too lakey. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. There are some. These will be our. And then our gloomy forest. Similar. I like the textures that they put on here. Like there could be like ferns or something. Underpants are loose. I don't know how much I'll actually do, but this is our stumpy stump. Okay. And again, the light source will be coming from top left. So we can, as appropriate, this will be our gloomy forest. And these ones in the back can just be in shadow, more or less. This is obviously a coniferous forest for the most part, which is fine. I don't feel the particular need to mix it up. It's almost done already. Like, just go over top of most of this with. Here's our gloomy forest. We're good to go. Okay, this is our rough layer. Make it red. And then reduce the opacity. And then this is our gloomy forest. Let's make it green because it's a forest. Go back to my black. Will there be a shrubbery? Always. Nee! You are correct. I should be. My tonsils are sore and I feel bleh. Oh no, what happened to your tonsils? Tonsil? Tonsil and Gretel. Okay, let's start. I always, just by instinct, from years of drawing with a real pen, I like to start left and go right. Why? So I don't smudge the ink with this part of my hand. But this is digital. There's no actual ink. So I don't need to do that. But it's just how I learned. So that's fine. So gloomy forest, we will maximize. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's delete that, and this will be our new gloomy forest. Too big. That's still a little bit too big, a little bit smaller. There we go. If I make it too big, I'm going to draw too much detail. So, sorry if you're watching this on your phone. Hansel? Yes. Hansel? 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 All right, so this is like all the more detail than we need. Like, yes. This one, I guess this one is the frontmost. Boom. Sounds like Johnny Quest. Something like that. And then this is the mossy rock. Kind of want to put like a little chipmunk or something on there, but it's going to get lost. It's not. People are going to say, "What is that weird shape?" So I won't. This is just a mossy rock. Here, let me look at my reference again. Let's all enjoy my photograph that I took, even though the light's coming from a different direction. Da, 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 da. But there could be, you know. This is like a fern, I guess. Looks kind of like ferny. Okay, and then let's do another. Plant over here. Oh, you know what I watched today, which is fun, is Quatermass, the Quatermass experiment on Tubi. That was a good time. And then Quatermass 2 loaded up automatically, and the quality, the video quality of Quatermass 2 was, how do I put this? Sucked. Here's the shrubbery. I feel like this is a shrubbery. We want a shrubbery. And this can be just like... Sure, let's just make this dark. You can erase a little bit with the... Yeah, that's fine. Make it smaller. Looks good, I think. We're already a third of the way done on our final. And let's do our... This is our happy little tree stump. Again with more. Here's a butterfly. There, how's that? And then we'll do this other nice big tree. Is it infested by... If you like Darren, for example, if you are like Darren, you will know that the Japanese beetle larvae have done a lot of damage to... Oh, I'm overworking this. To the forest, the great forests of British Columbia. Japanese beetle larva, is that what it's called? Speaking of Japanese again. So I'm reminded of that as I... It's kind of like a weird negative space in the middle of the... Maybe it's a little stream or something. Let's say it's a little stream. But should the stream... Let me figure this out. Let's undo all that. How do I do this stream? I feel like maybe I have to do it. The stream is black for some reason. And maybe it's a trail. It doesn't matter. It's there. It's there. That's all that matters. Okay. Ba-da-da-da. And... what's going on? I loved how her hairpins would fly about when she ran. yeah, the old witch. What was the Witch Hazel? That was her name, Witch Hazel. Yes, Witch Hazel. Cthulhu Inc. Got it. Quatermass is good. Quatermass in the Pit. I watched that last year, year before that. Those beetles ran havoc in our forest. Yes, those pesky Japanese beetles. I'm gonna have to have a word with my Japanese friends about their beetles. Can you please take your beetles back to from whence they came? Okay, I feel like we're pretty much done. That just looks like an arrow. Let me redo that. If we get rid of the red, if we get rid of the frame, if we get rid of our reference, does this fit in? I feel like it's quite large compared to some of the other places. I really filled that frame up more than I needed to. And I feel like it's too busy. So maybe we do what he did, the original artist, whoever that was. And we just fill up that middle part with black. And maybe that will help. Maybe that will help. Period. So. And then. Now. Here. Now. The trail or the river is indeed. I think that's better. You don't really get to see the edge of the trunk, so maybe there we go. Ba-da-da-da-da. That's fine. Better from a distance? Yes, I think that's better from a distance. In fact, let's just get rid of this guy here altogether. And I think that'll be fine. There, done. Womp, 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 womp. That's good. That's great. That's our forest. We did it. We did it all in 57 minutes, and that includes the time I set up. Charles says, I think those beetles made their way down into Michigan too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so we're done. So the next episode is, I haven't done any research on it, but let me take a look now for Presto Spells Disaster. I know or if I remember correctly, there was a town. I mean, the whole thing was like, oh my god, here we go. There's a giant at the top of a beanstalk. Classic. But the beanstalk is destroyed by the end of the episode, so there's no need to draw that because it's not a permanent fixture on the map of the realm. But I think there was a town. Let me go to Presto Spells Disaster D&D cartoon. I'm not gonna watch it, but I'm just wondering. Oh yeah, raoulraoul.livejournal.com. If you like Dungeons and Dragons cartoon and you haven't checked out Raoul, he goes through each episode and makes his commentary, and it's quite fun. So yes, there's the woods and more woods, and then there's all the stuff that happens in the castle. The giant's castle, which is in the sky, I guess. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch this. But then there is a town, so I'll have to watch it to find out if the town is named and if I need to draw it. I think those are the only locations. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only location. And there's a golden dragon in this episode. I think it's a golden dragon. Maybe it's a bronze dragon or something. Anyway, it's a good metallic dragon. And yeah, so we'll see. But that's all I have to say and do to you, with you today. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you next time for another live stream. Don't forget to do the liking and the subscribing and all that kind of fun stuff. Share it with your friends. Comment in the comments section. Say something, anything. It doesn't matter. And I'll see you next time on the internet. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me, Charles and Cthulhu.